Our mission to engage Australians with their superannuation continues, Ren, with Super September. We only have a couple of episodes to go, so let's get stuck into today's focus, which is to find ways to boost your superannuation.
That's right. We're talking about how the government can help boost your super. We're talking about how your partner can help boost your super. We're also going to talk about how we can
all the ways.
What's the saying? God
help
helps those who help themselves.
Yep.
We're not a religious podcast here, but we'll take their saying. We're going to talk about how you can boost your super, and we're doing it in partnership with our partners here for this year's Super September, Vanguard Super.
Yes, Vanguard's super lifestyle option is designed to take the stress out of superannuation. It automatically adjusts your investment mix as you age, focusing on growth while you're younger and gradually reducing risk as you approach retirement, all without you lifting a finger.
Check out Vanguard Super at vanguard.com.au/super.
Products issued by Vanguard Super Proprietary Limited. Consider the PDS and MD at vanguard.com.au/super and decide if it's right for you.
Now, a big thank you to Vanguard Super for helping us keep all of our content free here at Equity Mates.
Yeah.
And it's important that we keep our content free here at Equity Mates, Bryce, because too many Australians are not engaging with their super. We started this whole Super September this year by talking about the stat that 40% of Australians hadn't logged into their superannuation in the past 12 months.
Yeah.
And if you're not logging in, you're not engaging with your super, then you can't be sure it's optimized. But what you also can't do is take advantage of all of the ways that the government is trying to boost your super.
There are a lot.
The government is trying to put money in your pocket, and if you're not taking it, then I don't know why you listen to an investing podcast. But what we want to do today is unpack some of the key ways that you can boost your super account.
Yeah, so let's start with just a quick reminder how we can help ourselves.
Yes.
Because as you said, there are plenty of ways that the government sets up superannuation. So we spoke about voluntary contributions earlier in the week. A reminder, you have a concessional cap, which is now $30,000 a year, where you can put in concessional contributions up to that amount. And
what that means is it's taxed at 15% rather than your marginal tax rate, which might be 30%, might be 37%, might be 47% with the Medicare levy. Yeah. So like you could be saving 30 cents on the dollar by using the concessional cap.
Huge. Now, if you haven't done that, the good news is you then have what are called carry forward concessional contributions. You can maximize the last 5 years that haven't been used and bring that forward and do it in one lump sum. That's the concessional. If you want to put in more, you can do non-concessional contributions up to $120,000 a year. The beauty of doing it that way is that once the money is in superannuation, the income on that is taxed at the 15% tax rate in super. So you can really help yourself by doing voluntary and then non-concessional up to 120 if you really just want to get money in there working.
So that's the first way, how you can help yourself. The second bucket is how the government can help. And this is over and above the tax advantage they give super. There are a number of programs that people should be aware of. They all have specific terms and conditions, which we'll talk to, but there are a number of ways that the government try and boost your super beyond the tax benefits.
Yeah. So the first one is the Super Co-Contribution Scheme. This is where it supports people on lower incomes. So if your annual income is below a threshold and personal after-tax contributions are made, then the government adds up to $500 to your super fund.
Yeah, now it's not quite like a one-to-one matching, but the maximum co-contribution from the government of $500 a year comes when you contribute $1,000 and you earn less than $42,016. This co-contribution scheme in some way, shape or form is available to those earning up to $57,016 in the last financial year.
Yeah.
So obviously these numbers move year on year, but the point here is that if you're a low income earner, that the government literally want to match your contributions. Well, literally want to add to your contributions.
Yes, give you more.
So they're literally putting money in your super account.
Yeah, well.
So that's putting money in.
Yeah.
The other way is they want to give you a tax rebate.
Yeah, they want to give you money back. So this is the low income superannuation tax offset. So it's for people earning up to $37,000. If you put in a concessional contribution into your super fund, they will refund you up to $500 of the 15% tax paid on whatever amount that contribution is.
Up to the $500 tax. Yeah, let's be clear about that. And essentially for that portion of the concessional contribution, it takes the 15% tax rate and makes it 0%. This one is easy. There's no need to apply. If you're eligible, the offset is automatically done. But it's worth keeping in mind that it exists. Now, a third way that the government wants to help is they want to help retirees top up their super. They also want to solve the spare bedroom problem in Australia, which is that retirees often have more house than they need.
Yeah.
And so they have introduced the downsizer contributions. This started in 2025, so it's pretty new. Australians aged 55 and over can contribute up to $300,000 per person, so $600,000 for a couple, from the sale of their home to superannuation, and that doesn't count to your concessional cap.
Crazy. Think about the tax here, the flow of this. You're probably likely to sell that house capital gains free.
Yeah, if it's
because you've held it for
it's like your family home,
years,
the kids have lived in there, the kids have left home, and you've got too many bedrooms now, so you sell. Yeah. You've made a shitload of money on that house because it's an Australian house.
Fully capital gains free.
Yeah.
You're in a couple, so you can then take 600,000 of that and just plonk it into super outside of your normal contribution.
Yeah, and then that 600,000 sits in the tax advantaged environment of super, earnings being taxed at 15% rather than your marginal tax rate.
If you're age 55 plus, it's not going to be soon until it's earning 0% tax because you're going to be then relying on it.
Yes. So look. Anyway, we're just here to talk about the policy. So be aware that if you're an older Australian, particularly if you've got parents who are starting to think about retirement, starting to think about selling the family home, this downsizer contribution has been introduced. It's just another way that the government is trying to help you help yourself and boost your superannuation.
Yeah.
So there are 3 policies to be aware of. The third bucket that we wanted to talk about was how your partner can help.
Yeah, so this is a good one. It's the super contribution splitting. So it allows splitting of up to 85% of concessional, that's before tax, contributions with your spouse. Then there's spousal contributions where you can contribute up to $3,000 per year to your lower earning spouse's super. Now, your spouse must be earning less than $40,000 and they don't need to be working. So it's great for those that are on paternity leave, for example, or don't find themselves in a position where they're unable to be working for a period of time.
Yeah, and so for those spousal contributions, they can earn a tax offset of up to $540. So it is capped.
Yeah.
I think the important thing, these 2 policies, I often get confused about the difference between them. So super contribution splitting and spousal contributions, both ways that I guess a higher earning spouse can support a lower earning spouse. The important distinction is super contribution splitting is splitting the already in your super concessional contributions. And by splitting it with your spouse, it doesn't count to their concessional contribution cap. So it's a way for them to catch up if they're sort of behind with their super. Spousal contributions are when you're putting additional money into super.
Yeah.
And they do count towards your spouse's non-concessional cap. Yeah. But obviously, if your spouse isn't working or is working part-time and is earning less, then they're probably a fair way off their concessional contribution cap.
Big time. Now, we just want to close out with some good news for the paid parental leave because super is coming in 2026
I think the headline here is we've spoken about the ways the government is trying to help. The reason you got to keep engaging with your super is the government's putting more and more policies to try and help us more.
Yeah, I love this one. From July 2026, government-funded paid parental leave will include superannuation payments, which we know is going to go a long way to addressing these super gaps that really impact people that take time out of work later on down the track. So keep an eye on that one. But Ren, there you go. 3 key ways that you can add more to your super and engage with your super. Log in and just figure out all the ways that the government are pleading to put money in your pocket.
Yeah. The government recognised that super has been a big success, but it is so important to fund people's retirements, and they are doing everything they can to get us to engage with our super.
Yeah.
Everything but coming and sponsoring Super September. So thank you to Vanguard Super for stepping up where the government hasn't. But I think, this is why it's so important to engage with because there's so many opportunities to boost your super, to make it work hard for you. And then, once you get in the weeds and optimize the investments to make sure it is working as hard as you're working, it can really set you up for a great retirement. That's why we do Super September. We've got one more segment where we're going to recap everything that we've covered throughout Super September. So keep your ears and eyes peeled for that. But over the weekend, log into your super at the very least.
At the very least.
I will say this about investing. Everything you do learn is cumulative. What I learned at 20 is useful.